Hare Krishna. So chapter number 6, we saw various wonderful aspects about Ashtanga Yoga. But finally Krishna ended this chapter in Śloka number 47, where he is speaking about who is the topmost yogi. There he makes many wonderful statements, and he's talking about a bhakti yogi basically. So there he's saying that yoginam api sarvesham mad gaten antaratmana shraddhavan. So he's talking about the person or a bhakti yogi, practitioner. He always abides in me, thinks of me with faith. Now how to get this faith? This faith one can get in Krishna. Full faith one can get in Krishna. And he can concentrate on Lord Shri Krishna only when he has knowledge of him. So this knowledge Krishna is going to give in chapter number 7. In fact, now we have covered the first six chapters, which predominantly spoke about Karma Yoga. Now the next 6 chapters, starting from chapter 7 to chapter 12, we are going to exclusively discuss about Bhakti Yoga, where we'll discuss about the process of Bhakti and we'll discuss about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. So this knowledge Krishna is going to start giving from chapter 7, especially from the first shloka onwards. So let's get into the chapter 7, shloka number 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamanaha Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathajñātyasi Tachrunu. So now he is saying Tachrunu. Who is saying? Shri Bhagavan. Supreme Personality of Godhead is saying Tachrunu. Now here, O Arjuna, O Partha, son of Kunti, Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya. So here he is talking about May Asaktamanaha. So he is saying that mind attached to me, Asaktamanaha, Yogam Yunjan. So one who is practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, the mind attached to me, Mad Ashraya, in full consciousness of me, Asamshayam Samagrammam. So he's saying that without doubt, such a personality, Samagrammam Yatha Jñātyasi. So he's saying that such a person can actually know me in full. So in the previous shloka he said that you should meditate on me with faith, and faith will come from knowledge. And now here Krishna is saying that knowledge a person can get if the person practices this particular yoga that I am going to describe henceforth in this particular chapter. Now one thing is very nice to understand here. Last shloka of 6th chapter Krishna spoke. First shloka of 7th chapter Krishna is only speaking. Now there, without even Arjuna asking that, oh Krishna, how to meditate on, what is the process, how to do it, Krishna himself is telling. Very mercifully, Krishna is very eager to tell about himself so that we all understand how to practice Bhakti Yoga. So there is no question here that Arjuna is posting. It is Krishna, he himself eagerly is describing about Bhakti Yoga. And he's starting the first shloka and the second shloka, it's actually emphasizing on the knowledge of this particular process called Bhakti Yoga. So what are the different things covered in this particular chapter? Chapter number 7. That is, first, Krishna is full in all opulences and how he manifests such opulences. This is the first thing that is described. Then there are 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and there are 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna. So these are the important sections of this particular chapter, and there are many more details to it that we'll see in detail. Now in the first 6 chapters, we have seen, in the first chapter, we saw how the entire stage was getting set for the battle, and how Arjuna gets into depression and how he starts giving various reasons. Chapter 2, 3, 4, it talks about Nishkama Karma Yoga. Especially in these chapters, the basic thing that is discussed is about the Swarupa of the Jiva, where it is talked about the Atma we are not the body, we are spirit, soul, and all this is very nicely discussed. And the worshipper is discussed, and the means to realize all this is discussed in these chapters. And when it comes to chapter number 5, chapter number 6, now we do understand. Chapter number 5 was karma containing jnana, and chapter number 6 was Ashtanga Yoga. So we discussed all this. And then in chapter number 7 onwards, in the middle 6 chapters, now Krishna is going to talk about the Swarupa of himself. So there he talked about the Swarupa of the living entity, and now he's going to talk about Swarupa of himself and the object of worship and the means to realize this Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what is going to elaborate now in these chapters. Very nicely it is given here that concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. Therefore, the Lord says to Arjuna, Tat Shrunu, or hear from me. Now this word which Lord is using, Tat Shrunu, hear from me, is a very, very important word. Actually, the entire process of devotional service starts with hearing, Shravanam. So it is said, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and it goes up till Atma Nivedanam. These are the 9 angas of bhakti. So Shravanam is the first one, hearing. Hearing very, very attentively about the Supreme Personality of Godhead or from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very, very important. That is, instructions from Supreme Personality of Godhead is Bhagavad-gita, and about Supreme Personality of Godhead is Srimad Bhagavatam. So hearing this is very, very important. No one can be greater authority than Krishna, and therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. So whenever we want to understand about Krishna, from whom should we understand? Who is qualified to speak about Krishna? The first person who is qualified to speak about Krishna is Krishna himself. Because Krishna can tell who he is. He can tell what are his different energies, what is his power, how he creates this entire material world. He can speak about all that. And a person who is very, very close to Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna, who has attained Krishna, who knows Krishna in and out, such a person can speak about Krishna. So a devotee, a pure devotee can speak about Krishna, and Krishna himself can speak about himself. So these are the 2 personalities who can actually give us the knowledge, the actual knowledge of devotion or bhakti. Here there are wonderful shlokas. There are 5 shlokas quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, starting from shloka number 17. It says, Shrunvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hridyantastohya badrani vidunoti suratsatam. So when a person starts hearing, what happens? Krishna is there within the heart, and he will cleanse the heart from all the contamination. Then the next sloka says, Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So when a person hears more about Krishna, what happens? He becomes fixed in devotional service to Lord. Why? Because all the abhadra that is there in the heart, unwanted things in the heart, all that is removed. Tada rajastamo bhavaha kamalobhadayaschaye cheta etair anaviddham stitam sattve prasidati. So after all this contamination is removed and all that happens, so what happens? The person rises above the ignorance and mode of passion, and he comes to sattva guna, wherein now he is free from all the material lust and all the other anarthas which are there. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Now when all this is gone, when all the contamination is gone, what happens? The candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. This is what is the position that he has reached now, steady in devotional service, because now he is there on the platform of pure goodness. And finally, Vidyate hridaya grante chidyante sarva samshayah kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvare. So finally, The Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamshayam Samagram, understanding the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Personality of Godhead. So finally the person comes to the stage where he can understand the Supreme Personality. But where did it all start from? Shrinvatam Swakatha Krishna. It all started from hearing. If we just keep hearing very, very attentively every single day, all these stages automatically will cross and come to the final stage where we'll be able to understand the Lord in complete, in toto. So this is a very important thing to understand. We have to hear. We have to hear very attentively. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna. So every single day we have to hear. Every single day. We have to hear from a pure devotee. We all are very fortunate because we have the audio recordings, the video recordings of a pure devotee, an acharya of this age, that is Srila Prabhupada. So we can hear him. Every single day we can hear him and get purified by his mercy. Now, Krishna is going to emphasize more on the importance of this knowledge in the next shloka. So let's see that in the next video. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,